We, we patrolled the President Cup Regatta. Harry Olivas. I served in the Navy during World War II. After the World War II, I went in the Coast Guard, and I retired from the Coast Guard. Everybody I knew was in the Army or the Navy or the Marines. I wanted to go to war, defend my country.
The purpose of Honor Flight National is that we transport veterans free of charge back to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials that were built in their honor.
This is just where our living quarters inside the school building. Asked me to tear up some of the flooring that in the area where we were working. My name is Donald L. Judd. I was in the Army Security Agency, sergeant when I worked in Korea. Oh yeah, it's got a lot of history in this whole deal.
We actually landed on 63 different qualified airfields in Vietnam.
He was always traveling and lived in Greenland off and on.
Bruce Heedle, Air Force for 21 years.
Okay, Ted Trueblood. That is my actual uniform from being in the Long Range Patrol. I've left Vietnam as a first lieutenant in the Army. That's the South Vietnamese flag right there.
The history. People need to know history. It's important for people to know that some very dedicated people are willing to spend a few years of their life doing something for their country.
Combat is different. These other guys are going to be shooting at you, and it gets all kinds of noise and confusion, and how do you keep this under control and manage it? You just can't really believe that you understand it until you actually see it in front of your face.
We've had veterans say, and gentlemen that have gone on, and ladies have gone on our flight that say, well, I'm not a veteran. I was not in combat. Just because he didn't go and dodge a bullet doesn't mean he's not a veteran.
I stepped up and I said, hey, I'm going to give you guys 4 years. And they didn't seem to be grateful for it. God, I put my whole life on hold. God, I got out and I came home and it was a whole different world.
As much as the people may have felt against the war, don't take it out on the soldiers because they have no control whatsoever. They were mistreated for a year in combat, and it wasn't their fault. They're not the politicians that made the decisions. Why take it out on them? They've already suffered.
The door's closed. And the door's been closed for a long time. Trying to say that we're opening that door back up a little bit and letting some of the emotion out to know that we appreciate what they did.
I always thought I did the right thing when I was in the service. I don't think I hurt anybody. But it took me a while to even admit that I had been served. I just kind of said, oh, I've been gone. Don't worry about it.
If I had to do it all over again, I would do it at the drop of a hat.
To experience Honor Flight and experience watching the change that happens, the real change that happens with our veterans from something so simple as just taking to a memorial.
One of the reasons I'm going is to kind of closure.
They're with their the compadres, those that they served with, in one capacity or another. And to know that they've all gone through something. They all have experienced something.
Good morning.
This program started as just taking veterans back to see their memorials. That's all it was. And it has evolved into something that's absolutely incredible. The healing that goes on that no one expected would happen. It's hard to believe that we made it 10 years. Registration starts at 7. They are there at 5:30 in the morning. They are ready to go.
It's highly worthwhile to give us a chance to see these memorials. These are some of the things that we experienced.
I could have died several times over there. And, I often wonder why me. Why didn't I escape from Vietnam alive?
Many of our veterans are carrying some pretty serious burdens. There's some intrepidation about what's going to happen. They're not exactly sure how that's going to surface and how that's going to result.
So we're going to have Brian take a couple photos and we'll get started here in a minute.
We do a group photo, so everybody, at the end we talk about what's going to happen here in the next little bit. We get their luggage checked. We go through TSA as a group.
We have some very special guests flying with us today, taking part of the last Frontier Honor Flight.
I thank every veteran, every military serviceman, because they are never thanked enough.
Denise Snow usually comes out and she sings. And it is absolutely amazing. She's got a gorgeous voice. We have passengers, because it's an active airport, they'll come by and they'll stop. And they'll actually take and join in with the singing. They're now starting to bond, and that being there, to being together and to have those patriotic songs sung stirs the emotions. It does, and gives them an opportunity to feel like this is going to be a good thing.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. One more time, I'll march for you guys. Glory.
One of the things that helps is we board first, and sometimes it's because we take a little longer to get on the aircraft, and that makes them feel that we are special. Well, you are.
Traveling with us are veterans from World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, traveling to Washington, D.C. to view the memorials.
I'm thinking, if I'm going to go, I better go. My birthday is on Veterans Day, November 11th. I'll be 79. That's old.
Land report down and clear.
Hello everyone in the terminal. This is veterans coming from flight out of Anchorage today. We have 1 World War II veteran, 4 Korean veteran, and 16 Vietnam veterans. Please give them a hand and welcome them to DCA.
It's an honor. It's an honor, believe me. I didn't expect this at all, and it's just great. It's just great.
It's very emotional as they walk through the airport that people are applauding.
Been here years ago, but this will be the first time that I'll be able to see everything. I like to go to the wall and see what's it's a different feeling when you're there. And I'm with my brothers.
We get in Wednesday night, we arrive, and then Thursday morning we get up and we hit the ground running. We drive over to the World War II Memorial.
I think one of the nice things about this trip is meeting people that were serving the same time I was, but never got an opportunity to know them, and the varied service people that from the different areas, Air Force, Army, Marines.
Show them the Alaskan Pillar, and they all get to go over and get their picture with that. Load back on the bus, we go around the corner and up and pull in, and we unload, and we do Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam Wall, and the Korean Memorial are right there.
Nice memorial.
It is.
I think it's very, very appropriate to see such a beautiful place here. The juniper bed that these troops are going through. The trees, perfect background for this. Oh, there it is. Good.
How's it feel to see his name?
Sort of overwhelming.
I've never taken the time to do what we're doing today and reflect and witness and view these great monuments. Bruce Wilson. His mother was shaken heavily when she got the message. And then the other side of the coin is, what can you do to alleviate and help? And I was in Alaska for a good share of the time that I thought about him. And I don't even remember his mother's name, unfortunately. But I'm forgiven for that. Man on high.
Found my way over to panel 38E, row 60, and found a high school classmate's name. He was killed the 9th of February 1968. 6 days later, I enlisted delayed entry on Valentine's Day. I saw way too many Marines coming out in body bags. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I enlisted in the Army. Harold Smith, North Des Moines High School, Des Moines, Iowa. We didn't run around in the same circles, but I knew him and we were friends. And then we went away after school, and it was just something I had to do. I had to say, goodbye, and I'll see him on the other side one day.
We went over there in November of 1967 after training at Otis, and I returned in '68 and wound up going to Elmendorf Air Force Base. I'm a very emotional person, and I'm trying to hold it together here. I really am. I actually was spat on, I really was, in uniform, and there was not a lot of people saying thank you for your service as they are today. I get more of it today than I ever thought I would. I really did. And it hurts me that we have to go through stuff like this, any war. And I just, it's bad. But like I said, I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat.
Well, not alone. Yeah, everybody's been here, they've been someplace in it, and they've done something somewhere.
Took me a while to even come on this trip. My cousin was in the jungles getting shot at and I was out in the ocean. So I didn't feel like I should be there. But the more I listen to these people, you were in the service, away from home. I did 3 cruises overseas. So to see this, what we've gone through, it's really exciting.
A lot of emotion. For many of our veterans, this is a lot of emotion here. Emotions at the wall and other places throughout become they're right at the surface.
Sad in a way, glad in another way, because I really didn't want them to know how I actually felt. Most times I was scared. In Vietnam I was scared. Because the mortars coming closer and closer, or the shells coming closer and closer.
We save Arlington for the end of the day. The service that's been given over decades is remembered. It's a moving experience for many to see that and to see the dedication and that plaza that they use for the walk. For military, that's sacred ground.
We don't talk about our combat junk unless we're just among ourselves usually. But that's just part of being in combat. I mean, you don't broadcast that kind of stuff and talk about it much.
And we've had some veterans say, I can't do that right now. You know, I can't go there yet. And that's okay. That is okay.
Combat tours to Vietnam, Alaskan native leader, and he trained 48 astronauts in underwater weightlessness simulation.
We get up and we go to the Edward Hazy Airspace Museum. It is amazing.
Wow. Yeah. Caused them to have to land in Sweden. Okay, Sweden was a neutral country during the war.
I want to make sure that, you know, they see the things that they want, especially when we have a large group of Vietnam veterans like we had today, showing them some of the aircraft and the helicopters that many of them had and flew during the Vietnam War. It was kind of exciting to show them that. And then they contribute their stories to that too as well, so it's fun.
I was in the Air Force for 4 years, from 1967 to 1971, and 1 year in Vietnam in 1969. Long time ago, but we did it, did what we have to do.
And then we leave there and we run up to the Marine Corps Memorial, and we spend some time there. That is always a moving experience there in and of itself.
I don't know, it's just something about looking at this that really means something to me.
Yeah, he wouldn't ever talk anything about it before this.
So you've learned more about his time in the war now than you have your entire life.
For sure, and I'm 51.
I saw, you know, how others came back. And I was so fortunate because I have everything. I'll probably lost a few of my mental facilities, but I'm one of the lucky ones. Lost some hearing, you know, working on helicopters. But the Lord blessed me and took care of me.
Everybody says, we want more time, we want more time. We have a schedule we got to keep, and we try to lengthen out as much as we can.
Why is it special today? Because this is the 10th anniversary of the Alaska Airlines Honor Program, and we have the privilege today of flying some veterans back to Alaska on board with us.
And all the veterans throughout the flight, as we're coming home, say, thank you, this has been so amazing. Thank you. So it's not over yet.
We have a privilege today of doing that. Thank you so much for being on board with us.
And the receptions we've had are just been fantastic. And when we first got back from Vietnam, it wasn't that way. It was, you know, they gave some of us kind of a hard time.
Yeah, the first thing almost everybody did, they got off the plane and changed uniforms. Didn't have any hair, so everybody knew we were vets coming home, but yeah, it was not a pleasant time.
If they ever understood what most of those soldiers went through in that year that they were in Vietnam, they would never treat them like that.
You know, we were called names. I was never spit on, but you know, we were really not welcomed.
I mean, there were great times, but there were not so great times. I like to think of the great times.
Our veterans get something they did not get. Invariably, none of them got a welcome home.
Bam. Right, quick, march.
So as they're coming off that aircraft, go around the corner. They have signs and flags and people cheering and family members and members of the community there, walking them home. Most of them came home and got off the airplane and went to work. Nobody said a word. No one said thank you. And there's a big one right there.
Thank you much for being here.
I've known folks that have been on the honor flights previously, but no one mentioned this. You know, this was cool.
It felt good. All of those children, you know, shaking them little hands one after another. Oh gosh, heart melting. Just, oh, it felt so good.
Going through all these things through the airport and the people coming over and thanking us has made me proud to be a vet again. It has made me proud.
I've just been blessed the whole time I've been in Alaska. It's a wonderful state. I appreciate it. Thank you.
They're a changed person for the better. They're healed. We just took them to DC. That's all we did.
Bye.